You're listening to Achtung, Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Bermondsey. Accept no substitute.
Hello dear listeners, welcome to what feels like a post-mortem after an awful display, in all fairness, up there at Sheffield United. Joining me to kick over the traces of pretty appalling display, Neil. How did you see the first half was terrible today?
Mate, I've got to be honest, I'll lay my cards on the table. I hate the north of England. The only positive about the north of England is you can get to the south. I would annex it from the rest of the country along with Essex. Yeah. If they want Scottish independence, they can go with it. Mate, I tell you what, that first half was as calamitous as your cat walking across the keyboard.
Yeah, just to explain to listeners, this is about the third go to get this StreamYard call going because my cat jumped. We've got a new cat, listeners, and it jumped up on the keyboard and inadvertently pressed a mute button that I didn't know existed and I couldn't hear Neil. So we spent a good 10 minutes. It feels like forever, Neil. Or it feels like that first half did. Of trying to work something out and couldn't see why it wasn't working.
Yeah, well, some people say muting me was probably not a bad thing, actually. But we were all first half. That first half cost us the game. No two ways about it, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's run through the team today, just for anyone who's tuned in from the far side of planet Earth. Bart in goal, back three, Cresswell, Cooper, and Wallace. Danny Mack, I want to come back to Danny Mack, and then Scott Malone on either side. Midfield, Billy Mitch, Jules Saville, Jamie Shackleton up front, Mason Bennett and Benik Afobe. Quite a few of that side, which on paper didn't look a bad 11-0 for me, given that we've had a bit of a performance this week with injuries and sendings off. No Honeyman, obviously. I didn't like a bad starting 11 to me, but if players go missing, and quite a few of that 11 went missing in the first half, you're going to find yourself, as we did, 2-0 down in short order. Very poor first goal, basic stuff, and that was, I think that was Murray Wallace that let the man just push him out of the way, basically, from a long ball forwards.
Well, yeah, we've got to be honest. Yeah, well, we hoisted the Italian flag, didn't we? The white cross on the white background in that half. Yeah.
Well, we did. It was awful.
Well, we can blame Murray Wallace, but we've got to say the cretin that was in charge of the game, Coot or whatever he was called, he was wearing a FIFA badge. I think it was FIFA EA Sports.
God help us if he's a FIFA referee. It was awful.
Because it certainly wasn't FIFA, the corrupt organisation in Switzerland. Apparently, he was refereeing a Champions League qualifier this week.
Champions League football with him.
Because you have to say that Jake Cooper was pushed in the back. Yeah, no two ways about it. It was a clear shove in the back. Yeah. If he didn't see it, surely his assistant referee had seen it. And I know they give the instruction because they think the spotlight's on them. They have to give the fouls. But that was a clear push. And it was debatable whether or not Murray Wallace was pushed off the ball, but we were just slow to react to the goal.
Just the ball through the defence. I haven't seen it back since, listeners. So I agree that it seemed a very easy goal. Whether the pushing side of it, I have to see it again. Murray did seem to be pushed off the ball, shoulder to shoulder perhaps, but he was second best in that challenge. And the striker was through on goal and put it away, which was 1-0 down. A poor goal, but not disastrous if we'd have shown a bit of backbone, a bit of fight, Neil. But we didn't, did we?
No, we went missing in that first half. No two ways about it. Let's be frank. We were from 1 to 11, I think, was the saying used to go, wasn't it? We were
through 11. Yeah.
Well, I know that people escape criticism at times, but I cannot think of one player in that first half that actually did his job properly. I know people say, "Oh, Billy Mitchell." Billy Mitchell ran around, but there was nothing else to it. Yeah, Afobe and Bennett up front were nowhere to be found. They went missing in action. The defence looked all over the place.
Absolutely. And midfield was, because it was a loose pass. Was it midfield? So the ball was simply played into space for the red and white striped shirt to run onto, Neil.
Yeah.
Second.
That's the first. Yeah, the first goal we're still talking about, aren't we? Yeah, it was just. I think we missed Honeyman today because they seem to be just walking through our midfield.
Mm.
And,
he's a major loss. That second yellow card.
Yeah,
Cambridge cost us.
Yeah,
it shouldn't.
Yeah,
be that much of a loss, though, Neil. It shouldn't be that the whole house of cards comes crumbling because one element's not there.
No, exactly. I agree. But we were just off the game, and the second goal, I think, summed it up. It was a sloppy ball by Cresswell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He looks absolutely great at times, but at other times he looks like a complete liability. I think he needs to cut out, and it could be part of the reason why he's been sent was he needs to. Max McClelland on the commentary before the game said he needs to cut out what he described as Hollywood balls.
Yeah.
That second goal was what I think you maybe classed as a Hollywood ball, wasn't it? He tried the difficult thing, and it didn't come off. And
effectively, it released the Sheffield United striker to go through and make it 2-0, and that was largely game over at that point. Especially as the half wore on, and then we a naive challenge, in my opinion, by Jake conceded a penalty on 42.
Challenge, absolutely awful. It didn't need to be made. They were trying to wriggle through, and they were coming through. It was like bloody Zulu Dawn at times. I mean, flying through us, and it was almost don't panic, Mr. Mannering, wasn't it?
It's such we've gone from one extreme to the other within 7 days, and
it's Millwall. Face it.
It's Millwall. It's very worrying because inconsistency was the bane of our season last time around. We are again happy as can be. Great save, terrific save, obviously to keep the penalty out. I think if it had been 3-0, then it really would have been no hope for the second half. We did improve in the second period, Neil. I felt.
I'll tell you what, he obviously got into them at half time. Well, I don't think he got into them at half time because I'd have put one or two of them through the wall. But no two ways about it. The Fergie treatment would have been anything. I'd have had everything flying at their heads.
Whatever they got, whatever barrels they got, they deserved because it was an appalling first half. We did improve in the second half, as I said. Though I would put the big caveat into that, Neil, that we improved and showed more effort. The effort and commitment that you would expect us to have shown from the first minute. We still didn't create much in front of goal. We had a few bits and pieces as the half wore towards the late stages, but by then you're still chasing a 2-goal lead going into the last few minutes of the game when we're starting to look like we might have half a chance. I don't know. Very, very poor display. I feel for the 1,300 fans that have gone up there, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. Apparently there were trains cancelled and all sorts going up there, so it probably wasn't that easy to get to. I thought that, we did create one or two things in the second half, but again, there was no end product. Did Afobe have a chance in the entire game?
He had a couple of moments, but we just don't seem to convince. We had more possession, got the ball wide, but nothing in front of in front of goal. And that's going to be a problem if we still have hopes of finishing near the top six. That's going to be a problem if we don't get work these little bits out.
I don't know what you think, but I don't pay great attention to stats, but I actually noticed at half time they were, I was waiting for something or other, and they put the stats up on the screen, don't they?
Yeah.
I think it said we had 41.2% possession in the first half.
Did we?
Going to do absolutely anything with that. We had one shot which I struggle to remember in that first half.
One shot on target across the whole game. I mean, 11 shots, and I think that's a very. I'm going by the BBC listeners here. That's a very generous definition of shot, Neil, because I don't remember too much. And apparently one of those was on target.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. I can remember. I can remember a couple of chances. I think Saville played a ball through in the second half. I thought Saville was our best player. We'll come on to him in a minute. But there was one chance. I think he threaded. There was quite a nice little movement. And,
he picked a pass down the middle, trying to find a Phobie.
Yeah, their defender got across and blocked him, didn't they?
Yeah. They were a good defensive side, ably assisted by an appalling referee. We were getting nothing across the whole game.
They didn't have much to deal with, did they? Let's be honest. It's almost pipe and slippers time, especially in that first half. There was absolutely no danger on them. But
I was watching. It was a Sheffield United stream, and their commentators were saying, praising Gary Rowett for not changing. I suppose from their point of view, they were just giving them exactly what they wanted, but not making substitutions till late. And I was disagreeing with them as I was sitting in the back garden watching the stream, because I felt we did need to change it. We had possession, but we weren't creating anything that looked half dangerous. So to bring Tyler on and then Isaac Alofe on 80 and 81 minutes seemed way too late to me, Neil.
Do you know what? I don't think he's got any faith in them. I think they're only there because he's short of options. Yeah. And he's only going to bring them on when he really has to. Yeah. But that's obvious, I think. I totally agree. It was crying out for something different.
Someone that could do something, yeah.
In the game in the second half, but was that because they knew that they'd won it? And they didn't want to attack us too much and leave themselves short potentially to go 2-1 down.
No, I mean, I suppose. I mean, you made the point on our group chat about Mason Bennett coming out. I'm just looking at the BBC site. He was on a yellow card. Maybe he felt he didn't want to risk another second yellow.
That was an absolute farce yellow card. He challenged the guy. The guy went down like he'd just been
shot. That's the referee, though. I mean, it was a poor referee, wasn't it?
And as soon as the yellow card came out, he jumped up. To me, that's just out and out cheating, to be honest. But then again, from the north, what else do you expect?
It's a standard kind of northern trip, isn't it? Didn't really see enough of Isaac Alofe. Whether I don't know. I mean, you make the point. Does Gary Rowett have any faith in either? I don't know. Didn't see much really of Alofe. He did only have 10 minutes, though, listeners. We did see something of the flair of Tyler because he made a really nice cut-in run from the left side. He kind of cut in and almost went through two defenders. They balked him,
didn't he? And then he lost the ball, or the ball was taken off him, or the ball was cleared. But that was probably one of our most incisive moments, attacking wise, especially from wide.
Yeah,
it just screams out that we need more attacking options. He's gone on all summer that we need to be more creative and we need something more up front. We'll go out and fucking sign someone now.
Or play players that we do have that, whether he has faith in, say, Tyler. Let's use Tyler as a good example. Is probably the classic flair player. Well, how good he is, I think, is probably a story still to unfold. We don't really know. He certainly produced our most attractive moment of a game today. That was an absolute wasteland from the Millwall perspective. And if you're not going to play Tyler, and if you're not going to play the boy Topolo was on the bench, again, I understand to be a flair player, then as Neil so succinctly puts it, find somebody else because we need it. because the kind of functionality of our side went absolutely nowhere this afternoon. It just looked very mediocre across the 90 minutes for me, Neil.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't disagree with that. And it's just frustrating that we've gone from a massive high from Stoke last week.
Yep.
We got a bit of a kick in the nuts against Cambridge, but then again, we'd have almost forgiven that, I think, if we'd have
produced today. That would have gone from the memory very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. But now are we in a bit of? Are we going to panic? I know we've got Coventry at home next week, so. But the good thing is we haven't got a game now midweek, so hopefully, you wonder what they do work on in training, because they seemed a bit aimless in that first half, especially. There was just no direction to our attacking play. In fact, there was no attacking play. Full stop, really.
Well, it was interesting on that point. We were wondering what they do in training, because one of the Sheffield commentators made the point about our long throw, which was today Billy Mitchell, long throw in, which, as they said, it isn't a particularly long throw. They made this point, and we weren't creating anything from the said shortish long throw. And they, where's the variation? Where we are that predictable that when we get a long throw situation, you know what you're going to get each time. Sheffield United defended it quite easily, in truth. And they were making the point that maybe we should vary that a little bit. But we didn't. We stuck relentlessly with Billy throwing it moderately long. Gary Rowett lacks that imaginative side to his management game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to get on Rowett's back, but it's something we've been saying for 2 or 3 years now. We need some attacking coaching. We need somebody. Yeah, we need a coach that's attacking minded. Robinson was a fullback, wasn't he? Adam Barrett was
a centre half, wasn't he? Adam Barrett, South End.
Paul Robinson was a centre
half. Yeah. So it's all defenders. That's for sure.
Fullback defender, wasn't he? We need. I was listening to the commentary today, and apparently they have a set piece coach and a forward coach and that kind of thing. We need somebody with some attacking some attacking.
Yeah, some flair, something. We showed nothing on that front.
We always seem short of options. It's either set pieces, which we scored 2 from last week, and we were very poor from them, I thought, today.
Well, we were poor because they were quite a big side themselves, and I think we have a tendency to think, because we're a big side in Jake, obviously, but also Creswell and Murray Wallace, that's going to be enough. But today, I think we more than met our match on that front, and we showed nothing in terms of set pieces. As we've said repeatedly, won't keep bashing away at it, but nothing from a flair point of view in open play. Just looking through the team list. Sorry, Neil. Danny Mack got involved in a bit of a spat towards the end with one of their players, and he didn't really look his absolute best today. It wasn't too bad in the second half. First half, along with many others, he went missing. The boy's head doesn't seem right at the moment. I think this. We've said it before in the pre-match show, say it now in the post-match show. He really does need to get his contractual situation sorted out and get back to what he does best for me, which is focus on his football.
Mate, there's something not right there. I don't know if he's being affected by all of this, but he hasn't looked right in pre-season. He'll get away with it because he's Millwall.
Through and through,
yeah. But I just wish he'd learned to cross a ball.
Quality of our crossing generally, which includes Danny, but others, was not good today.
Our problem is somebody made it on Hoff on one of the threads there that Malone is a fullback. He's not a wing back. Yeah, so we get very little from that side, and probably Danny Mack's probably too far the other way. He's more of a wing back than he is a fullback. but he does struggle to cross a ball and to get the ball into the box. And that is a problem for us. It's pretty basic football, isn't it? You put the ball into the back of the net, and to put the ball into the back of the net, you've got to create chances. And we just don't have enough of them. I had high hopes of Fleming doing something along those lines, but he's out for a couple of weeks, and Honeyman suspended today.
Certainly missed these players. Fleming's out with Bradshaw now for, I thought I read 3 to 4 weeks. We'll see on that front. But we did miss Honeyman today. He brought a dynamism that was just sadly lacking there today. It can only get better next weekend against Coventry, Neil, can't it?
Yeah, well, you'd hope so. We'd hope that they might run into a coach full of fans on the way home, or even if they get the train home, they might get they might be unfortunate enough to.
I recommend they maybe stay over and come back tomorrow if that's what they're planning to do, because I think they will get an earful if they come across any of the 1,300 fans that made that sounds like quite a torturous journey up there today.
Yeah, but to be honest, they deserve it, and but they might need it, because the last week has definitely brought us down to earth with a bump. I know that
It's pierced my optimism, Neil. I mean, we were all on a high, maybe a giddy high, and maybe a little bit unrealistic after that win over Stoke. But to go from that to this in 7 days is very Millwall, isn't it? Very Millwall indeed.
Exactly. It's just it's just the roller coaster. We didn't describe a roller coaster in one of our pre-season shows. Then, right, Christ Almighty, it's going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. But I can take losing. I've said it many times. I can take losing. I just expect them to try a little bit, and they didn't try in that first.
Not enough. Second half, was an improvement towards the end, but we're still chasing 2 goals, Neil.
We were going to get. It just wasn't good enough the second half. I know it was an improvement, but Christ, there was nothing to improve on, really, was there? It was absolutely. You're bound to improve in the second half, because the first half just it cost us, and it was just frustrating. I didn't think Sheffield United were that good, to be honest. I know you
should have listened to their pre-match show. They were talking about they were at Ajax Amsterdam from 1972 with the stars of Dutch football. I mean, I didn't think they were that great. We just allowed them the space and time to do their thing, and when you're 2 goals down, it's difficult.
Yeah, we gave them a 2-goal lead, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's game over. Arrivederci Millwall, really.
That's a good note to leave this little post-mortem on. Big thank you to Neil for persevering with me whilst my cat muted my computer. Big thank you, Neil.
Yeah, no problem, mate. Yeah, well, we might have to unfold the club and mission on.
I think a dose of let's see this as a dose of realism, listeners. After a little bit of a giddy week, Neil and I will be back next week on Friday. Until then, dear listeners, arrivederci Millwall, as we've said already. Bye for now. No One Likes Us Clothing is the clothing range designed by Millwall fans for Millwall fans. Caps, t-shirts, polos, they've got it all. Visit noonelikesus.co.uk for the full range. Or if you're in Bermondsey on a match day, why not have a pint in the Blue Anchor pub and pick up a Nolu polo shirt, Nolu clothing at www.noonelikesus.co.uk.